I'm Neil Richardson. I'm the Technical Director at Samurai Digital Security, and I'm here to talk to you about different types of security testing. Full spectrum attack simulation, penetration testing, secure code review, phishing campaigns, and social engineering. So I'll start by discussing penetration testing. So penetration testing is where Samurai Digital Security would come into your organisation and perform several different tests on your infrastructure, your web applications, your mobile applications, and generally any sort of technical area within the business that could be exploited by a malicious third party. Our job there would be to come in and to assess that system in the way that maybe a malicious hacker would or a malicious insider would. So what we'll do is come in and work with the organisation to understand sort of the requirements, what the business does day to day, and then using our tools, techniques, our talented group of guys, we will try to subvert the system. If we were possible in any way to subvert the system, we would then produce a report and follow-up meeting to present those pieces of information to the client, and then we would help to sort of raise the security so that those attacks couldn't be performed by a legitimate malicious or a malicious insider against the organisation. Then we have phishing and social engineering. As we know, a lot of phishing emails get sent nowadays, and a lot of those phishing emails are becoming more and more complex, more targeted. You've got spear phishing, where organisations are targeted at the highest levels, and then you have other phishing campaigns where general staff are targeted with things varying from staff restructures, pay increases, anything to stir emotions. So what we want to do there is we work with companies to generate phishing campaigns which are quite real and that will elicit emotional responses just as a real one would do. And the goal there is not to catch people out, though, it's to raise awareness. If we do get anybody, when we suggest that some training be given, that they be given some help and support and guidance, but the idea is to make people aware of what can happen and get people to question and think about before they click that link if they should. And equally though, if anyone does click a link or anyone does fall for anything, to report it as soon as possible, because the minutes and the hours after a phishing email is clicked or some credentials are submitted is the most important. So the phishing campaigns work to try to raise the awareness throughout the organisation, just to make the chances of anyone in the organisation, whether it be the CEO or anyone in the business, clicking that link and falling for that. We can also supplement that with social engineering, so that takes it further than email. We could do things like phoning up the office, pretending to be somebody to elicit, to extract information from individuals regarding the organisation. We've seen situations where people have phoned up to get bank details changed on invoices, so the technical areas can also merge into more sort of the social areas. That can even be extended to actually physically accessing buildings, walking into a building and picking up a bunch of paper, picking up a server and walking out of the building with it. So lots of different areas we can help again. And the idea there is to raise security. So people will, challenge people at the door. If somebody tries to come in, they will say, are you a member of staff here? Where's your badge? Things like that, that help to stop those incidents from occurring. And then we also do secure code review, and that's very helpful for organisations that produce code, that have software development houses. So obviously, any application, web application, system application, mobile application that's produced can contain thousands of lines of code. And the job of many developers is to make sure that code works, that code is functional, and it does the job. It's very difficult sometimes to also keep an eye on the security of that code when your goal and your target is the sprints, is to get the code out of the door and make sure the product is right for the customer. So we also provide a service around secure code review, where one of our consultants will go through the code that has been produced and look for security vulnerabilities at the code level, which is really good because what it does, it prevents sort of vulnerabilities making their way into sort of the final application at that level, so reducing the risk of anybody being able to take advantage of that application and make it do unforeseen things. Coupling that with a penetration test can give you a really solid level of confidence that the security of the application that you've built is of a high standard, really. One of the services we provide is the full spectrum attack, which is kind of like everything together. It's where we would take different elements, so we could include penetration testing, we'd include open source intelligence. So we would look maybe for password lists that have been leaked online. link some of those to staff members and see if any of those passwords, allow us to gain access to their Office 365, to any external systems that are available. If we were able to get onto, say, their Office 365, we could then start to send emails to try to escalate our level of privilege. Maybe we're able to get onto the VPN. Once we manage to get into the organisation from the outside, we would look at trying to move laterally, move inside the organisation. So we might have taken an account that is a low-level account, a basic account, and we might want to try and get access to something more fruitful, more sensitive. So what we would do is we would look for opportunities then to take that account and escalate the privilege and move further into the organisation. That could be accompanied with phishing attacks. So once we've got information, once we've got a list of users, or from that email account, we would try to send emails to other users, getting them to click links to gain access to their systems. We could also complement that, internally, once we're inside the network, with security scans and security testing to see if there's any vulnerabilities inside the network that would allow us to move, horizontally and vertically to gain access to different resources. It could be a specific file server that we're interested in. It could be some intellectual property. And the idea, the goal for us would be one of two things. Either the organisation would normally set a target, so it could be, can you get access to our intellectual property? Or it could be, see how far you can get and how deep into the organisation you can get over a period of time. And that would be our goal. And once the engagement's finished, we would report back and explain all the different areas we succeeded in and all the different areas that were prevented. So the company gets a report and a meeting where we discuss, all the different areas we think there's improvement. And the idea of that, I guess it's a more holistic approach. We test everything. Rather than testing a snapshot, we're testing every different defence in the organisation. And if this organisation does have a defensive capability, we can actually challenge that defensive capability. Can they detect us? Can they find us? Can they shut us down before we're able to do anything untowards or anything that a malicious sort of individual would attempt to do?